Jan Scholten and Jules Hall, congratulations, inaugural two-handed IRC overall division winners. How does it feel?
Feels very satisfying, yeah.
And a pretty tough race at times?
It was indeed, but we expected that, and we were ready for it. So at times we were thinking, well, we'll maybe back off a bit, wind gods. You've shown your powers, and now another one at us, and then the Derwind. But
so you
know all that, yeah.
So you have a whole, I mean, it's like this race has a whole classic series of phases, but that first night must have been pretty tough, wasn't it, Jules?
Yeah, it was. It's the first night out, so you're not in your stride yet. You're not on your watch system, and you've always got a bit of jet lag. Trying to get the body wants to go to sleep because it's night time, and you're on deck and roaring wind and waves. But we had the right sail plan up. We were prepared for those conditions. We sailed relatively conservatively, but whilst still good speed, and we just plugged offshore.
And the boat behaved pretty well, and and there were some pretty short, sharp seas and so on. You were falling off the back of those. The boat was all good.
Yeah. So we started probably a year ago, and we've brought through its paces. So like Jules says, we're comfortable with the boat, and that wasn't a problem. I'm not worried about it at all.
And getting through those transitions must have been pretty tricky. How are you calling those between the two of you? Do you split duties on that, or you just sit there and have a discussion and try and work your way through, Jules?
Well, we definitely collaborate, but so we have navigation tools that we're using. So and we're big believers in you've got to keep it simple. You've got to stay on the big picture, run our routing, and then validate what the routing's saying with the conditions we're seeing in real time. We're doing a lot of that, going, what is it? It says this. Is that what we're experiencing? What do we see around us? What cloud lines? And then making the more micro decisions based on that macro information.
And then, so for those that aren't sort of familiar with that idea of routing, it is fundamentally weather overlay with the best possible angles and so forth, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. So it takes the speed your boat will travel at in different wind strengths and angles, and then it overlays what weather is forecast, and it also looks at current data. And that's a big part of this race, is getting those currents. You've got the East Australia current, then you got the back eddies circling down into Bass Strait, so that you're positioned. And in this instance, like you said, the transitions. So we had a number of significant transitions to navigate.
Yeah, tough yards. And how did you go in just sort of managing sleep and everything else? That must be one of the toughest bits of it, isn't it?
We defaulted to what we knew, not fully crewed, 3 hours on, 3 hours off as a target. In the first night, it was more 2 on, 2 off. And then Jules did the skids and spent more time downstairs with navigating than I did. So we balanced it out fine.
Like I was off, just chilling down there. It's hard work on that radio and stuff.
It is actually that monster. But credit to Jules, everything worked, and that's life with this race. The HF radio, we all love and hate it, but
what's the obviously it caused a bit of an issue with the IRC overall, but what from your perspective, what's difficult about HF radio?
None for me.
Okay.
I'm the crew and on deck, but to organize it, like the cost and the pressure is on for that to work. It must come. How many times do we hear it must work at Green Cape, and if you don't radio in, it's just like a big stick over you. Ugh. Well, you can break a mast and finish, that's fine. Or half a crew is, just downstairs sick, but no, HF? Yeah.
Well, we had an instance, 2010 I think it was, we were doing a Hobart together, weren't we, on Swish, Sydney 38, and we had a huge lead, and we got struck by lightning, and it killed the HF. And we had 12 hours, and we had a guy downstairs, 12 hours trying to get it going, and we got to Green Cape and we had to retire, and that was devastating.
Yeah. So you invest in that pretty heavily and make sure it's working as best you can, but I guess that's what goes with it.
Well, but Jules is a resourceful man on the cabbage tree. We had it only installed a few days before, and it was working perfectly according to the brochure, but of course it wasn't. Yeah. So in anticipation of the compulsory sked, Jules was madly trying to figure out how to get the thing going, and then rung up an English technician he'd never heard of before. Was it?
They were awake.
Okay, so first phone call was, he's at lunch. Oh, bugger. Then we come back and we ring him. Yeah, we can't hear. Oh, okay, we'll call you back. Jibe back in, get closer to the coast. Yeah. Breaky break. He's in now. Oh, lovely. Okay, my name's Jules Hall. Oh, yeah, so? Well, when you're doing this race, can you help us? And yeah, so good for you.
Got to use everything you can to get there.
Yeah.
So in this particular race, the inaugural one, it's a separate division for IRC. And interestingly, if you do the calcs, actually, if you were actually involved in IRC, I think you'd have laid fourth. So it'd be interesting to see what's your opinion about this separation, because obviously in England and other things they run the two, and you can win on IRC in Europe as well. Do you reckon that's probably going to come about now, or what's your sense of that?
I really hope so. Like, I think it's good. It's better for the sport to have it together.
Yeah.
But I also respect the process the CYC is going through, and I think they're taking a very measured approach, and I respect the considerations. My position is I really hope they come together.
And the reality is that the separation is mostly about trying to get this idea of sort of the auto helm and other things, and when that's applying and so on, and whether that's an advantage or not. Presumably it's for a fairly short period of time anyway, isn't it, in most circumstances?
I mean, we'd have used it 5% of the race,
Yeah, right.
you know, for manoeuvres.
Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and yeah, we'll see in future years. You're going to come back and try again?
I think we'll just have a rest first, hey?
Yeah.
And we'll see. we only finished.
Yeah.
We only finished a few hours ago.
That's right.
That's true. That's probably
Yeah, but we get on like a house on fire, and great mutual respect.
Yeah, that's great.
That's at the end of the day what we've got, and that's terrific.
Yeah.
And that's what sailing is all about to many people, and for us in particular.
And Jan, your daughter Annalise was following you. Were you following her?
Oh, totally. I was feeling glad, sorry, and horrified for her.
So Annalise
And
was on Pretty Woman with a whole bunch of our RPAYC folk. We
Yeah.
spoke to them yesterday. I had a great interview with those guys. It must be
Yeah.
great knowing your daughter's following in your footsteps.
Yeah, well, she's actually questioning whether she will after this race. She admits that maybe cruising is more for me. So she's not fool. She's no fool.
Well, excellent. Well done, both of you. It's a really, really good campaign. The boat looks really schmick, and looking forward to seeing you out on the water again. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers.